Okay, it's good. So welcome to the Blocklike panel. I'm Arthur, the investment manager of CFG Candaq FinTech Group. So the Blocklike is a blockchain media outlet focusing on the blockchain technology and bottom ecology. Our panel invests core players of hot tracks in the industry to share with you interesting, in-depth, and valuable topics through live broadcast. And I hope our audience can get some inspirations from the panel. So we are all the builders in Web3. So I'm really honored to be here to sit with all these outstanding people and the projects here, talk about the Web3 related projects. And I think that would be enough, like the basic intro of this event and myself. And let's move on to our, the first chapter. So please introduce yourself and your project and tell us about your ideal user experience in Web3. And, always lady first, right? So we can start from Sarah and Emma and then the gentlemen, okay? So Sarah, please.
Yes, hi. I wanted to start by apologizing for the noise. I am live from Consensus 2022 in Texas. So there's a lot of events going on in the background, and this is the best I can do from sound point. But my name is Sarah, and I'm the CMO of MultiverseDAO.org. We're a central land scaling platform. We offer free airdrop land to users to help onboard the masses into the metaverse. I feel Web3 needs to be interoperable. Users need to be able to jump into a Web3 platform and access all the features without considering chain-specific anomalies. And the ability of their assets and avatars to interact within the platform needs to happen seamlessly without the end user having to consider all of the different technical sides of different chains. We all need the options to engage without opening new accounts to do so. And to do that, Web3 projects need to come together and I think decide on standards that can be used by all.
Okay. Okay, then maybe we can invite Emma to do the brief introduction of yourself and your projects. Also, please talk about like the ideal user experience in Web3.
Oh, hello. I'm Emma. I'm a CMO of FootEarn project, and thanks for inviting me to join this AMA today. And about our project, FootEarn is a very first real-time 3D football game esport based on blockchain. And FootEarn has an engaging and accessible gameplay that attracts gamers from all ages, genders, and countries. And moreover, we have multiplayer mode that users can compete directly with each other in tournaments and receive prizes. And it is an outstanding feature of FootEarn compared to other GameFi projects. And about Web3, as I see, Web3 brings one freedom and autonomy in line with blockchain and with the development of Web3 for the present and future. Traditional games, traditional users will have experiences in self-control of cash flow and assets. So I think Web3 offers true financial freedom for user.
Okay, good. And Bill, please.
Hi, my name is Bill Dingwall. I'm the lead UX designer at Kava. Kava is a layer 1 network and DeFi platform that connects Binance, Ethereum, and Cosmos assets on a fairly scalable platform. We just ended up building an EVM. Traditionally, we've been built on the Cosmos SDK. I would say my ideal Web3 experience is largely just a seamless one where you could interact with multiple blockchains, multiple assets, and do it in a very simple way that aligns a little bit closer to more traditional mental models. And I think ideally, I would love to see a lot of like real world problems kind of being solved, or just real world experiences being enhanced with blockchain technology. I think DeFi is a nice one because, helping people generate passive income, I think is a pretty interesting thing. But I think there's also other interesting use cases like DAOs as a way of managing organizations, or potentially NFTs as a replacement for event tickets, keys to your home, rental keys, things along those lines.
Yeah, okay, I get it. And next, Severus, yeah, please.
Hey, hi guys. Thank you. Yeah, this is Severus, and it's coming from Dapper Labs, and I'm charge of the partnership of Flow China. So a brief introduction of Dapper Labs. Dapper Labs is a consumer blockchain company. What we care about is to create a future with consumer-grade decentralized application. We are the creator of CryptoKitties, and we create the ERC 721 standard. It's all still the gold standard for the NFT today. And we also the creator of NBA Top Shot, and which is one of the best example of how Web2 big brands to embrace a decentralized world, and is a most repeatedly growing market of digital collection. Another product is Dapper Wallet is instrumental to NBA Top Shot's success by providing seamless experience during the user onboarding, and it offers simple credit and payment so that users could engage with NBA Top Shot. And for last is Flow Blockchain, and this is what I'm doing to the Chinese market for Flow Blockchain. Yeah, Flow Blockchain is a blockchain for consumer scale application, which really integrate of spirit of Web3 from the basic layer, and is rapidly growing. Yeah, this is some very simple introductions. Thank you, guys. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks. Yeah. Maybe next week we welcome like the Rodrigo.
Right. Hello, guys. I'm Rodrigo from the Philippines, one of the countries that highly slowly adopted cryptocurrency. And recently, Zizi, the CEO of Binance, just visited here. By the way, I'm the marketing leader of MetaFinance, and thank you for inviting us here. Our goal is to address the pain points of DeFi providing space with a one-stop DeFi hub. Speaking of the perspective of users and the Web3 platforms, Web3 gives the richness of Web2, but the thing is, everything is decentralized. I believe we need to adapt and support innovation, as we all know that Web3 will be the next generation in the future of the internet. So if you see and check the history and progress of the internet from Web 1, Web 2 to Web 3, you can see the vast changes. Web 3 is the internet for everyone, and it allows to own our assets, our personal pieces of information, and even the transactions are secured, since Web 3 is running through the blockchain technology. As a user who believes in Web 3, I see a vast of potential for MetaFinance, because MetaFinance is designed for users, and MetaFinance also is a community-driven DeFi innovation, and it adapts innovation-driven. And approach the MetaFinance vision is to reach out the people around the world for the leverage as a DeFi means to generate passive income. In terms of passive income, MetaFinance also just launched one of the new product, which is the Meta Trigger, a new way to maximize the passive income in DeFi yield market. It's the same concept as of other platforms, but the thing is, you can earn higher API with more rewards and welcome bonuses in Meta Trigger. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Rodrigo, and welcome, Melo.
OK，我这边就用中文来给大家介绍吧。就是我们这边现在是主要在做一个基于 Web3 的陌生人之间的一个社交平台，然后它的主要特点，其实我是这边负责亚太区的这个游戏产品的开发。它是基于一个社交的这个陌生人社交，然后扩展到那种 GameFi 的领域来进行打金的这样一个大的一个社交平台。主要我们目前主要是这个产品的特点是让用户每一个人能够以非常低的成本就可以去铸造自己的名片的 NFT， 然后这些名片的 NFT 它可以被打包成一个盲盒扔到一个公共的国际上面的一个智能合约的池子里面，然后 其他一个陌生人他都可以通过支付 USDT 去购买你的这个社交的这个盲盒，但是如果说你正好开中一个人的话，你所支付的费用当中就会有一个25%直接进入到这个 NFT 的铸造者，所以它就形成了一个陌生人之间他进行这样一个社交桥梁的建立，同时制作自己的社交名片的这个用户，他可以通过这种方式可以在blockchain 上面去获得持续的这样一个收益。那现在在这个全球化的疫情下面，我们觉得这样的产品有助于帮助到有一些全球一些国家的一些人民，可能他因为一些疫情没有办法去获得一些持续的收入来源，但是通过 blockchain 的我们这样一个 Web3 的一个应用的话，它可以以很少的投入，然后就可以去制作自己的一个社交名片，而这个社交名片在这样的一个盲盒的这个池子里面，它可以被别人开了之后，一方面他们可能成为一个跨国界的一个沟通的桥梁，相互认识，另一方面这个制作 NFT 的人他可以从中获得持续不断的收益，我们觉得这有助于帮助在这个全球化疫情下面有一些生活上有困难的人，我们觉得这种应用是一个 Web3 或者是一个 blockchain 的一个应用落地的很好的一个实践啊，谢谢。
Okay, thanks, Melo. And I think we can move to the next question. Okay, so when we talk about Web3 products, there always should be like some core elements of user experience in the Web3 products. So the first one is, what do you think of the core elements of the Web3 products? And especially when people considering about the scalability and interoperability of on-chain ecosystem. So please talk about like the deficiency in user experience of typical applications projects within the industry and how to solve this kind of, the user experience problems. And still we welcome the Sarah to do the first, as our first guest to answer this question. Okay, please go.
Thank you. Again, kind of similar to my first answer, I think creating new accounts, new wallets, joining new chains for all projects, it limits access to a lot of users. So many people will reach a new platform and leave simply because they need to establish a new account. These are like the simple features that we have in Web 2 that we don't quite have in Web 3. I think decentralization should come with the ability to interact in an interoperable zone. And it's up to the projects to come together and create that interoperability so the end user doesn't experience the difficulty associated with cross-chain transaction. Establishing standards is one way to solve these problems. At MultiverseDAO, we have an ecological alliance in which we try to establish standards. We offer a platform whose end goal is to link to other platforms and provide the users for the metaverse. And any projects are welcome to join the ecological alliance and help us develop the standards that we hope will eventually govern Web3 and create a more user-friendly space in the metaverse.
Okay, that makes sense. And next, maybe we welcome Emma.
Oh, thank you. And about this question, and first of all, I want to talk about the core element. With products that apply Web3 technology to management and typical transactions, like our project FootEarn, users can create their own digital assets, such as players when they mine NFT by yourself or freely buy or sell them. Selling and exchanging its NFT assets on our marketplace is one of the key point and as well as the most practical application of Web3. However, at present, most people who do not use blockchain are so quite difficult for them to reach Web3, and especially the first step, creating a wallet. FootEarn team also spend a lot of time interacting and learning with the end users when asking them about blockchain, and we saw that most of them refuse to try create a wallet because two problems. One is trust, and two is a difficult understanding how to operate, and three, ability to pay if you want to use the service. There are also the issue of most projects when they want to find new users. With a typical Web3 product like Silo, and it's really difficult and a big challenge when users can completely. You can use cash to use because it's fast, it is easy to do, and there are many merchants to support. It is challenging to solve all three factors, and because we have learned about these difficulties well, and FootEarn team built a marketplace that is extremely easy to use and understand, and most of all, it's very easy for users to buy and sell through our FootEarn partners. User can easily buy or sell NFTs and tokens. That's my question. That's my answer.
Yeah, okay, I get it. And still, welcome, Bill.
Yeah, I would say, I guess one of the core probably issues with a lot of I think Web3 projects at the moment is, at least DeFi protocols probably specifically, they're very focused on just the features themselves, what you can do with them. And I think it kind of creates a lot of a conceptual overhead for new users specifically. It doesn't really do that great of a job of highlighting a lot of the value of it. It really forces people to try and understand pretty difficult concepts like leveraging your assets in order to supply to lending protocols, or doing coming up with various cross-chain strategies. I think one solution that we're really working with right now to help solve some of that is really trying to abstract away a lot of that complexity and put it into the background. So a user could potentially, in this case, come to Kava and supply an asset like BUSD, just simple supply and withdraw and earn, like 40% APY on it. But in the background, what we're doing is sending up multiple transactions. So it actually, what they're doing is initially supplying that BUSD to a lending protocol or a borrowing protocol, Kava minting USDX, and it's applying that USDX to our lending protocol, which is extra incentivized because it's one of our native stable coin. So any new user initially coming to our platform, working with those protocols directly, piecing those together is a pretty difficult thing. But the more and more we can kind of abstract away a lot of that complexity into the background and provide pretty simple supply and withdraw experiences for users, I think that'll definitely help bridge some of those gaps between Web3 and Web2. And if anybody's curious to check it out, it's app.kava.io/BUSD-earn.
Yeah, okay, I get it. And still, we welcome Severus.
Yeah, hey, you can hear me, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. Okay. Yeah, so for this question, I thought I mainly talk about two aspects. The first one is about the process of users to enter in the Web3 product. For flow side, what we believe is an ideal user experience is that the user can participate in their favorite content through some fiat channel without any knowledge of the blockchain. So for this part, I thought actually I'm also mentioned for the first question, we build the Dapper wallet. Regarding the first aspect, I mean, most products actually only supported cryptocurrency as the only means of the payments, and also it need to record the complex mnemonics or private keys, and also bear considerable security risks or network risks. Yeah, so it's this is very decentralized, so we all know this, but there is no user experience. So as I mentioned earlier, the Dapper wallet is actually a perfect ecological wallet that can solve these problems. It can provide during the user onboarding, and it offers a simple credit card payment, and also the users do not need any knowledge of how the transaction work on the or others. And the Dapper wallet, is aimed to provide the same seamless experience to as many Flow ecosystem partners as possible. Yeah. So for the second aspect, I saw the the product between the two, like the public chain ecosystem or several public chain ecosystem, are still not interactable. I mean, regard about this, flow actually is also still being explored. Flow is a non-EVM compatible public chain. For now, we had already connected with the seller with their C bridge to realize the cross chain of tokens between the flow and some EVM public chain. And also at the present, we are also actually to actively exploring the cross chain of NFT area. And there are already many ecologic products are building those protocols on flow. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Severus. And welcome, Rodrigo.
All right. For this question, practically speaking, we've seen a lot of hacks and attacks recently in the most well-known DeFi, NFT, GameFi projects. So I think we need to talk about or address these concerns on how we can achieve security in our projects, on how we can avoid these things to happen in the future. So it's not the only users who will be affected, but also us who builds these platforms. I don't want to talk about what happened with the Luna attack, as there is a lot of who get affected by it. Not only users, but also the developers were affected as well. So we need to learn from these lessons. As for MetaTrigger, the new product of MetaFinance, we can assure you that it's very safe, and because it was audited by the professional audit institutions. So if things went sideways in the future, the MetaFinance team has a backup plan to recover. So therefore, security is absolutely the priority, which can give to our users for more confidence. And this is what each of us in the Web3 industry should think about it. All right, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Rodrigo. And Melo, yeah. Hello, Melo, still with us? Okay, I think that there's something wrong with the connections or something. Yeah, let's move on. Okay, for the third question here is, currently speaking, the solutions featuring scalability, cross-chains, high TPS, and low transaction fees have been emerging continually. And Ethereum has the mainstream ecosystem has been deployed large amounts of application projects. So in the future, how will the bottom layer innovations of blockchain promote the mass Web3 adoption of Web2 user? So how do you view the influence of cross-chain and protocols, middlewares, and other bottom layers infrastructures on this user experience? And still, please, Sarah.
Yes, sure. I think layer 2 solutions offer a bridge between Ethereum and the Web 2 users who demand a user experience that doesn't include crazy gas fees. Building with a platform that can harness the power of the current user base of Ethereum without the restricting gas fees is something that the Web3 world needs to embrace in order to bring on mass adoption and bridge that gap that's missing right now for the Web 2 users. Microtransactions they can't happen on Ethereum. It's not feasible. And the solutions are out there and they're becoming easier to use every day, but they are not easy enough and the process is not seamless, at least not enough for Web2 users. We need the projects to adopt them. So we all, work together toward a common goal of making transacting easier and thus increasing the user base of Web3. Thank you.
Yeah, okay. Okay, thank you, Thera. And still, Emma, please.
At present, at the bottom players that we call 2.5 are also starting to blockchain noise and educate their traditional users. And typical payment companies such as PayPal have also gradually started to apply crypto to payment. And our team believes that with more and more payment application for crypto exchanges, users will know more about investment opportunities and high liquidity and speed to crypto. So the trust in the market will be increasing, and the number of crypto owners slowly increases in the future. And with the current situation, the only concern of many people who are not familiar with crypto is security. It is difficult to understand the use of different chains, but with the innovation of cross-chain and layer 2 or 3 platform like ETH or BNB, we all have also seen historic chains when all chains can exchange with each other. And user will not need to bother or need to carefully choose the exact chain, the exact risk. And during the information and development of FootEarn, our team also linked and learned that there are many malwares and physical store in some countries where users can pay and buy token directly. And in the future, our team see the development of market in general and the project in particular, which is that user can extremely easy earn and digital asset, in which they only need to go through step 1 of scanning the code to complete the payment. Thank you.
Okay. Thanks, Emma. And the Bill, please.
Yeah, I think this one's pretty interesting. I think in terms of like very bottom layer innovations that could help progress blockchain technology, I would love to see more like layer 0 standardizations. And I think Cosmos is kind of an interesting model, like, different layer 1 blockchains building up on the Cosmos SDK. There is some level of standardization there with IBC transfers between blockchains. There is, some seamlessness to it. Not quite there, but I think that notion could definitely be expanded on. I'd love to see more of like a W3C mentality coming from Web 2 into Web 3, and really a lot of various blockchains coming together to kind of create those standardizations in some of the little things like the hashing algorithms for deriving your address from seed phrases, different message formatting for posting transactions, any kind of cross-chain coin type that could be easily transferable. I think things like that would be great for multiple blockchains and multiple ecosystems to come together and collaborate on. Yeah.
Okay, sounds good. And Severus, please.
Yeah, so actually for this question, I thought I have a lot to talk. Yeah, because we're building Flow, and it's an, as we know, it's a public chain. It's a very specific. It's a non-EVM infrastructure on this blockchain environment. So actually, there are several advantages of Flow blockchain. I give you some core key points, and the first one is about the Flow blockchain, the infrastructure to scale. In a traditional blockchain, every node stores the entire state, like the account balance, smart contract code, and etc. And they perform all of the work associated with processing every transaction in the chain. So this is to having a single work build an entire car. It's like, yeah. So from the manufacturing to CPU design, we know that the pipelines are common technical for dramatically scaling up productivity. Yeah. So and the Flow applies the pipeline to blockchain by separating 4 jobs of the validator node into 4 different rules. It's a connection node, consensus node, and the execution node, and the verification node. Yeah. So which is make it super easy to scale for the whole network. Yeah. The second is named resource-oriented programming paradigm. It's a little complex. You know, our on Flow blockchain, our resource-oriented programming paradigm of is similar to the idea of the account and transfer in people's day-to-day life. A user can see what they have in their accounts in a very intuitive way, even if the smart contract are changed, not like the the EVM chain. User's ownership will not be violated, which is much safer than Ethereum. And the third one is about the compatibility, which I think is a bottom-up innovation and is also something basic infra of Flow naturally supports. So within the Web3 ecosystem, the smart contract actually could go beyond the simply allowed for instant and verifiable transactions for the various applications. Rather, they could be programmed to interact with each other. In other words, they make crypto program compatible. So like just like building blocks. So because the compatibility allow anyone in network to take existing programs and adapt or build on top of them, it unlocks the completely new use cases and they don't exist in the Web2 world. And it's a very interesting directions we are looking into. I give you some example for the application for the compatibility. Like Flow naturally can support the compatibility of different NFTs. On Flow blockchain, there is a very interesting PFP product called Flowata, and which users can buy and collect different components and mix them up to build their own avatars. And this also allows users to unleash their creative and earn lifetime royalty as the original creator. Yeah. For the last one is about the consumer-friendly onboarding experience. One is about Dapper Wallet. I already talk a lot about the last two questions. Another thing is about the gas fee. On Flowchain from the code level, the third party or any platform can pay the gas fee instead of the consumer. So actually the consumer, when the consumer come to Flow blockchain or even especially for those Web2 consumers like the mainstream users, mainstream market, when they come to Flow blockchain, they do not need to know what is gas fee at all. Yeah, that's 4 parts of how Flow to build the the Web3 experience. Yeah, thank you.
I just muted myself. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. So yeah, welcome, Rodrigo. Yeah, please.
All right. For me, to promote the mass Web3 adoption from Web2 users, we will not phase out the use of the Web2 ecosystem. Also, Web2 is essential to the transition into Web3. We will educate them by providing real-life scenarios of the Web3 advantages. Again, Web3 is decentralized. We can exchange information without the need for the third parties for other beneficial factors. So what would need to improve the Web3 beyond decentralization? I think the original magic of Web3 is not it is linkable, allowing things to come together. Anything can be referred. Here's a web page. Here's a transaction on Etherscan. Here's the proof of that something that happened. So people still rely on the URL, and that's a great quality to build upon. So if the network effects make it hard to escape, not just for the users but for the developers, and Web2, the development is extremely slow. While there is a sharing of open source libraries, toolkits, and frameworks, it is hard to share the features which are reinforced by the dominance of the tech giants. So Web3 is about correcting the problems of Web2. So if we achieve these progressions, then we no longer need to expect one application or one platform to do it all at all the time like that. So instead, let's develop would be able to create small and highly focused modules of functionality that could be shared, curated, and improved upon. For the users, these cards are representing different tools and features could be assembled into workflows as needed or replaced with new cards just as easily. So imagine building a 2D website, later inserting some 3D features with no extra backend work, or creating a cloud-based workflow, then swapping out its underlying database with a distributed ledger. So these are my ideas, but yes, more underlying innovation such as a cross-chain protocol, middleware, and definitely capable of allowing Web2 users to participate in Web3 on a larger scale. That's all.
Okay, thank you, Rodrigo. And we move to the next question. So, Web2 users need like something to carry them to enter the Web3 world, such as the crypto wallet, and yeah, you have talked about the crypto wallet and web browser. So the synergy between Web2 and Web3 in user experience can meet more like consumer demands and push forward the actual growth on-chain ecology. So how do you think we can make use of technology innovation to solve problems of user application scenarios or economic models in the Web3 world? And still, Sarah, please.
Thank you. I think new users in Web3 need to be able to hop into the Web3 ecosystem without realizing they are doing so. DApps, being similar to traditional mobile apps, present a familiar entry point for Web2 users because their UI simplicity enables users across the board to onboard and begin accessing Web3 programs without the large learning curve. For metaverse projects like MultiverseDAO, the need for mobile clients is imminent. But many popular metaverse sites are still desktop only and have no intention of moving into mobile. And the mobile audience is so much larger than the desktop audience. So with a larger number of users globally existing only in the mobile platforms, MultiverseDAO is currently developing mobile clients. So users can come into the metaverse from the comfort and simplicity of their mobile home. And then the end goal is eventually to be able to access other metaverse sites. Hopefully they build mobile clients in the future so they can all kind of access through similar portals and make the experience a little easier.
Okay. Thank you, Sarah. And Emma, please.
Okay. About this, I think Web3 was born in with too many activities for users, especially self-control of access and financial freedom. And Web2 users in the past have always been afraid of having their accounts hacked, suddenly locked, or being suspected suspicious transaction. All of this causing frustration for users as well without any radical solution. And usually the third parties providing Web2 service often blame for user, and especially for the error related to money and property. But for the projects that apply the standard of DAO and the Web3 system, like FootEarn, we have researched too many Web2 users can easily switch to using Web3. With the experience of educating users who are used to paying by cash and converting to paying by a card in Vietnam, the FootEarn team has also built a plan for users to convert from paying with the Visa, MasterCard, or some other credit cards to using crypto to pay. And along with that, we have also cooperated with many projects capable of paying directly from cash to card or to token and vice versa. And typically the Philippine Nico in project, we have also combined with them to use their 4,000 payment store across the Philippines, so that user can easily buy Pham tokens or cash out of Pham token and in the future. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Emma. And Bill, please.
Yeah, I think, thank you. I think data aggregation could be an interesting way to boost the user experience, and using that as a way to kind of flip the whole, Web3 experience around to be very asset focused. Like, for example, more of a portfolio management experience for DeFi products, where it's really aggregating from numerous blockchains, numerous protocols, and based on what assets you have in your wallet, really giving you simple strategies that are just laid out for you. Like if you have BNB in there, you want to do something with BNB, just very clearly showing here's the best ways to earn with BNB. I think one pretty large hurdle for a lot of Web2 users getting into Web3, especially in kind of like yield farming, is once you have an asset, you get it off the central exchange, put it in your wallet, then what? Like trying to figure out what to do with it next, I think is a lot of times can take a lot of research, and it's something people just don't have time for in a lot of cases.
Okay, thanks, Bill. And Severus, let's go.
Yeah, I make it pretty simple. So actually, what I mentioned is already answered these questions. Just 3 parts. The first one is gas fee. Like I mentioned on Flow blockchain, any third party can instead of the gas fee for the common users. And the second one is the fiat gateway. As I mentioned, the Dapper wallet can support Visa and MasterCard to let common users, especially for the mainstream users, to pay for their fiat. And the second, the wallet itself with an internet product-like experience. When you use the Dapper wallet is just like Alipay or PayPal. Yeah, so it's pretty easy for the common users and the mainstream users. Yeah, this is what we do. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Severus. And Rodrigo.
All right. If you're a financial services leader who is not actively thinking about how to incorporate cryptocurrency offerings in your strategy, you're already too late. Not only that, but leaders need to think beyond just ownership and pay close attention to the natural progression between the crypto, decentralized finance, DeFi, and Web3. The future of the consumers' financial lives will consist of both traditional, decentralized, and decentralized finance. And while the consumers are not broadly aware of terms like DeFi and Web3 now, the groundwork is already being laid for a strong embrace of a decentralized future, which is the decentralization of their wallets through the use of the multiple providers, through their search for ways to better manage their finances, and most importantly, the investment in cryptocurrency. It is an unbundling of traditional finance. It takes the key elements to work done by banks, exchanges, and insurers today, like lending, borrowing, and trading, and it puts it in the hands of the people. It also enables anyone to use the financial services anywhere, regardless of who or where they are. For example, if a web user is looking for services that generate passive income, and where he or she expect to get better rates than traditional banks, people can consider staking as an option. And staking offers crypto holders a way of putting their digital assets to work and earning passive income without needing us to sell them. It is almost identical to how you might deposit cash into a savings account at a traditional bank. Also, the yield aggregator is an option, so you don't want to miss, because it quickly increases your passive income through compounding. Also, yield aggregator is essential to automate the process of staking and collecting the generated rewards on behalf of users. These are the strategies involved and moving tokens around different platforms and maximizing yields via auto compounding. That's the magic there.
Okay, thank you, Rodrigo. And let's move to our last question. So security of the digital assets, transactions and user information has always been one of the important issues in the concern of Web3 users. So which is also the reason why the public cannot easily accept Web3 adoption until the implementation of new technology. Is it reasonable for projects to sacrifice some kind of decentralized user experience for on-chain security? Is this like worthwhile? And we start still from Sarah, please.
Yeah, I think security is on everyone's mind, but when we talk about decentralization and projects' ability to fully decentralize, I think in the beginning stages, a project that remains centralized can accomplish more faster than a project that is fully decentralized and needs to essentially organize the community in order to get things passed. Like the idea of a DAO is so hot right now. It's great because the community gets to decide on the forward trajectory of the project. But at the same time, if the DAO members are not fully committed to the project, they may vote to further their own interests and thus making the whole platform less secure and not the interests of the DAO. So this is why some projects I think need to remain centralized in the early stages to, excuse me, I lost my earpiece, to protect the security and the best interests of the platform and transition to decentralization once the community is well established and committed to the success of the project and ultimately everybody's security.
Okay, thank you, Sarah.
Thank you.
And Emma, please.
And about this, I think with the blockchain market emphasizing personalization is the security from the user very high, especially 12 characters from users' wallet. And in fact, the application of Web3 also needs more time to suitable for most users. During this period, our team also had a plan to use available APIs of channels such as Apple or Google to synchronize user information, which is also one of the factors for FootEarn to help users when their information can be leaked or is recoverable for the user. FootEarn also we are aim to increase users' trust in the blockchain as well as crypto. So it will not find a way to decrease user experience and increase security, but I will find the ways to improve user experience in with system security on chain via smart contract. And our team thinks that this can keep new user and increase community trust in blockchain. With FootEarn team, the products must be easy to use, easy to join, and easy to pay is the goal. And it's also one of the tasks that the FootEarn team set out in the present. And at present, at the bottom players that we call 2.5 are also starting to blockchainize and educate their traditional users. And typical payment companies such as PayPal have also gradually started to apply crypto to payment. And our team believes that with more and more payment application for crypto exchanges, users will know more about investment opportunities and high liquidity and speed to crypto. So the trust in the market will be increasing and the number of crypto owners slowly increases in the future. And with the current situation, the only concern of many people who are not familiar with crypto is security. It is difficult to understand the use of different chains, but with the innovation of cross-chain and layer 2 or 3 platform like ETH or BNB, we all have also seen historic chains when all chains can exchange with each other. And user will not need to bother or need to carefully choose the exact chain, the exact risk. And during the information and development of FootEarn, our team also linked and learned that there are many malwares and physical store in some countries where users can pay and buy token directly. And in the future, our team see the development of market in general and the project in particular, which is that user can extremely easy earn and digital asset, in which they only need to go through step 1 of scanning the code to complete the payment. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Emma. And still, Bill, welcome.
Thank you. Yeah, with this question, I think I kind of focused in on that decentralized user experience aspect of it and potentially sacrificing that for on-chain security, and kind of thought specifically about that anonymous nature of decentralized user experience. And I think, sacrificing some of that for users, I think it's a little bit of a trade-off. Like, for example, if someone is, willing to give up some of their personally identifying information like an email or phone number in order to get access to certain features that could help make their assets more secure, like portfolio alerts or potentially liquidation protections through some like automation that also triggers alerts for them, or potentially the more they give a little bit of KYC, the more we can provide additional features like insurance. I think some of that seems like a fairly reasonable trade to kind of blend, some of those traditional like Web2 kind of experiences to give up some of that anonymity. Ultimately, in the end, I think it just depends on that user's risk tolerance, the comfort with the system, and also their comfort with giving up some of that information.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I get it. So, and the Severus, please.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, actually, I guess this is actually a question without a correct answer. At present, everyone is using the various ideas to solve this problem. Just for flow, as far as flow is concerned, actually one of our most important ideas is to pass the resource-oriented programming paradigm, which I already mentioned about it. So the core advantage and the core key points of this part is that even the smart contract are changed. The user's ownership will not be violated. Yeah. So I already talked a lot of this, so I'm not to talk too much here. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. Got it. And Rodrigo.
Right. Here's my opinion about the Web3 security and perspective and directions. In Web2, a very important part of the security model is the response. In Web3, a transaction can't be changed when it is executed. So the idea of security is usually that a mechanism that needs to be established to verify wherever the transaction should have the conditions of security and then proceed. That is, security must be better in terms of prevention. So Web3 community must think about how to plan technically, address systemic weaknesses, and prevent the new attack vectors that the target is cryptographic primitives and a smart contract vulnerabilities. So yes, I think it's reasonable for projects to sacrifice some decentralized user experience for on-chain security. In the long run, Web3 security innovation is carried out in an open and open source environment, and creative solution will emerge in such scenarios. That's all. Thank you.
I muted myself again. Okay, thank you, Rodrigo. And I think that is all for this Blocklike event. And yeah, welcome at the end of this panel. So yeah, thank you all the audience and guests here. So for participating this event, it's really good.